we are going to begin the chapter tissues, is for class 9 CBSE science or biology. Tissues is what we are trying to learn, right? Don't smile back there. Okay, what are you smiling for? That's because you are making video, that's why. When physics wala make videos, you don't smile. You watch those videos, no? You don't. Why? Watch. Okay. See, tissues, first question that should arise in our mind, or first question that should come in our mind when we learn about tissue is that what is it? What is the tissue? First question that should come in our mind is what is tissue? Definitely the answer is also very obvious. When some same type of cells make a group and perform a particular function with a greater magnitude, such a structure is known as tissue. For example, suppose there is a cell. Okay. Now this particular cell is very efficient in doing respiration, suppose. Okay. Just for the sake of understanding, I am saying this particular cell is very efficient in doing respiration. Then such many type of cells, they will form a group together. Together they will form a group so that the biological function of respiration can occur at a greater magnitude. Can occur at a greater magnitude, ज़्यादा amount में. Such a type of structure, when same type of cells work together to perform a biological function on a greater magnitude, is known as tissue. Clear? So this is what tissue is. But the fact is that although the definition of tissue comes out to be like this, still there are tissues in our body where we find that there are different types of cells which forms a single tissue. And the greatest example of that is blood. In blood is a single connective tissue where you find WBC, RBC, platelets, 3 different types of cells. They stay together and function as blood. Still blood is a tissue. So then in the definition they have said that same type of cells which work together so that the biological function occurs at a greater magnitude, such a type of structure is known as tissue. Then this blood becomes a violation of the term same type of cells. No, actually it doesn't. Here same type of cells, I said same type of cells. I did not say identical cells. Are you getting my point? For blood, I would like to tell you that WBC, RBC, platelets, all of them takes birth from a same type of cell, which are present in the bone marrow. There is a process known as cell differentiation. If anyone asks you what is cell differentiation, and this term cell differentiation will become very important for you to understand tissue. When they ask you what is cell differentiation, you should understand that if there is one cell, from that cell, suppose by cell division, there is formation of many cells. By the process of cell division, there is formation of one cell to many types, many cells have formed. And these group of cells are exactly like its parent, but what has happened after a certain line of division or certain generation of divisions, what has happened that these cells that are there, these cells will not remain of the same exact function or type. They will take up their specific function and type. and hence their ancestral cell remains although the same, but the cells from where they have come, they have got differentiated into different structure and function, but still can be the part of same tissue. That is what has happened in plant. Is this clear to you? Is this understood? Huh? So now, do you understand what is tissue? Is this absolutely clear? So this is the definition of tissue. This another example of this can be given or can be found in plants. In plants, there is a type of cell known as meristematic cells. These meristematic cells, together they are dividing cells, and they form group of tissue or cell which divides and makes the plant tall and fat and so and so. We'll go into the details in former videos, but in our upcoming videos. But you should also understand that from the meristematic cells, they differentiate and become parenchyma. They differentiate and become collenchyma. They differentiate and become sclerenchyma. All the three are non-dividing. They have protective function or food storage function. Parenchyma is a type of cell which is differentiated from meristematic cells. Collenchyma cells are also type of cells which are differentiated from the meristematic cells. And sclerenchyma has also differentiated from the meristematic cells. And all these three types of cells or tissues, parenchyma tissue, collenchyma tissue, and sclerenchyma tissue, are present in different parts of the plants. So this is the concept of cell differentiation. If you would be in class 11, I would have told you this one in a much more ecstatic fashion, way more interesting way. I would like to tell you a little bit of that. What basically happens is, if a cell is there, then the cell divides. We know. The cell divides. Like a man provides, a cell divides. A cell has to divide. Only in plants we find non-dividing cells. And humans also we find non-dividing cells, those are neurons. Okay, why neurons have lost their capacity to division? Because they have lost their centrioles. You will learn about that. The centrioles are very important in performing the function of division, but neurons don't divide. That is the reason doctors and not only doctors, the WHO and the society and everybody is very much concerned about kids not doing drugs, not smoking ganja, not smoking all this kind of stuff. Why? Because they actually destroy neurons, and neurons are such type of cells which won't divide. That means there will be no replacing, no repairing. Are you getting my point? Because neurons won't divide. That's why don't smoke. Don't smoke. Tell me. What? Don't. Okay, be aware of that. This is as a biology teacher, I feel like to spread the awareness to you students also, and in my video also many people will, whoever sees it. So this is, if neurons don't divide, then what you will lose your understanding. Neurons are making what? Which organ is made up of neuron? The brain. The brain is made up of, you want your brain to be effed up? You don't want your brain to be effed up? Right or wrong? So that is it. You understand the meaning of effed up? The people who do this puff, they should be very careful. Understood? Okay. Anyway, so if there is a cell divides. Most of the cell divides. Like a man provides, a cell divides. Very few cells are there which do not divide. One, in humans we find neurons that don't divide. And next, in plants we find parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, the permanent cells. They are called permanent cells because they don't divide. And that is because the plant has smoked. No, the plant has not smoked. I was just joking. No, because the plant needs protection. The plant needs their food to be stored. And for that, permanent tissues are needed by plants. Plants are very different from animals. There are points of difference between plants and plant tissue and animal tissue, and the level of organization of tissue in plants and the level of organization of tissue in animals. There is a difference. We have to understand that. But before understanding that, try to understand this. A cell divides. So for that, it goes through cell cycle. You have to understand this. See, what happens is, this is not a cell, this is a cycle I am trying to draw. The cell divides, and division of cell, let this be the dividing phase, multiply M phase, and this is the resting phase. Resting phase. A cell is resting. So first there is a G1 phase, that is the growth 1 phase. First suppose, then there is the S phase, which is the synthesis phase. There is the G2 phase, which is the growth 2 phase. After that, what happens? There is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. This prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase is actually nuclear division. You understand nucleus is there in cell? Yes or no? Nuclear division. So that is known as karyokinesis. Then there is cytokinesis. Means the cytoplasm divide. It is actually through the picture if you want to see. Suppose this is the cell, this is the nucleus. At first the nucleus divides and becomes 2. And nucleus divides and becomes 2. At first the nucleus creates a furrow like this. Then it divides and becomes 2. Then the cell cytoplasm divides like this. And the 2 nucleus goes into the 2 cells. Understood? This is how it happens. So this nucleus is dividing, no, this has prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and when the cell cytoplasm is dividing, that is known as the cytokinesis. This portion is known as nuclear division or karyokinesis. After that, from one cell, here is one cell, 2 cells have come, the cells go into G1 phase, the cells grow a little bit. Then the materials in the cell, they divide and double up. Why? Because ultimately the cell has to divide. So all the materials need to be doubled so that it can go into 2 cells, right or wrong? So the cell divides here, and after the cell divides, little bit more growth is seen in the growth 2 phase, and then again it enters into a division. Is this clear to you? But some living cells are there which has lost its capacity of division, means it comes out of this cycle. There is a phase which comes out of this cycle. There is a phase known as the G0 phase. So the G0 phase of the cell cycle, that is coming out of the cell division, cell cycle. Are you getting my point? It's coming out of the cell cycle. Are you getting it? So it's coming out, it's not going into any kind of G1 phase or S phase or G2 phase or any kind of phase. Are you getting my point? It is just alive but lost its capacity of division. Such type of cells are also there which do not divide. Such type of cells which do not divide and stay together are called permanent cells or permanent tissue in case of plants. In our body also, the neurons don't divide. For division of cells, one cell organelle is very much required. If you have studied cell properly, you would know that there is a cell organelle which lies just near the nucleus. If this is the cell and this is the nucleus के पास एक cell organelle रहता है, which is known as the centriole, like this. Centriole. The centriole, if it becomes absent, animal cell cannot divide. If the centriole is absent, the animal cell cannot divide. Why and all? This all, if you go into the chapter of cell division, which is not there in the scope of CBSE, but is there in the scope of ICSE. But however, I will teach you when I get time. But if that is not present, then cell has lost its capacity of division. So, little bit recapitulating what I told and what I did not tell in this particular thing is that I was describing about tissues, and I say that tissues are such structures where same type of cells come together and perform a particular function in a greater magnitude, that biological function which one cell is capable of doing. They perform a particular function with a greater magnitude. That is what is known as a tissue. That a similar type of cells or same type of cells will function together to enhance or to do a particular biological function in a greater magnitude, boro kore, that is known as a tissue. See, life on earth is unicellular also. In fact, life on earth at the beginning was unicellular only. Life on earth today also we find that is unicellular. And in the beginning of life, when life first formed, life was unicellular. Yes or no? But the fact is this, that what we want to say, that if there is a unicellular cell, then that unicellular cell is capable of doing nutrition, respiration, excretion, and then ultimately divide and perform growth or reproduction. One cell is enough to perform the life processes. But that was not enough. Life wanted to evolve. And life still wants to evolve. And from the unicellular organism that was present on the face of the earth, life wanted to evolve and became multicellular. Why? The one reason, one important reason why life wanted to be multicellular is that to make the cells do specialized functions so that it could be more efficient in doing all the life processes. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Because the efficiency was required to survive the changing environment. This is one prime reason. Second reason, surface area to volume ratio. If your surface area is increased, you can take up more nutrients or release more excretory products with specialized structures. So it was tendency for life to become multicellular. And when life started becoming multicellular, particular function was the responsibility of a particular cell. At that time, one cell was not responsible for doing all the life processes. A particular type of cell was responsible for doing a particular type of life process. Even there was breakdown, more evolution occurred, more complexity of the tissue. You know about this thing, that cell becomes tissue becomes organ becomes organ system, and organ system becomes the organism. Many organ systems together. Today we human beings stand with organ systems, respiratory system containing what? Containing nose, containing the larynx, containing the trachea, containing the bronchi, the bronchioles, the alveoli, the lungs in total. The entire respiratory system. It's not only a question about one tissue or one organ, it's a question about one organ system. Why so much development? Is it development? Yes. Why so much development? Why is there so much development? Because of more efficient performance of function like respiration. In this respiratory system only, I will talk about epithelial tissue. The epithelial cells, cuboidal epithelial tissue, is lining my trachea. Many tissues together. See, you will get an idea. Suppose this is the trachea, this is the inside of the trachea. You know, cuboidal epithelial cells line our trachea like this. Cuboidal and columnar both type of epithelial cells is a type of epithelial cell which lines up our, I will tell you, our trachea like this, which has a cilia coming out of it, which has a movement which traps dust particle, do you know, and tries to send it out. Also from here, mucus is produced, cough / sha is produced to trap the particles, foreign particles. So all these cells working a particular function which is not even required by any bacteria or any unicellular organism. But see, here it has formed a tissue. So more life became advanced, more life became organized, more requirement of formation of tissues were required. So this is what we do. We will learn in this chapter about tissues. We will learn what are tissues. You already know that what was the requirement of formation of tissues. And also you learn that there are some permanent tissues, there are some tissues which are dividing tissues. Plants and animals are different. We will also go into that fact that how plants and animals are different in our next video. And also, we have learned that what is the cell cycle and which tissues don't divide, they stay in which phase, and what is cell division and everything. Is this clear to you? After this much it is clear. So we can do the next part in the next video.